Sharper Point Commentary, presented by Schwartz Laser Eye Center.
As the days after Election Day 2024 continue to tick by, politician and voter frustration over the counting of ballots in Arizona is being put in the form of a question. Why? Unfortunately, some people have decided to answer that with some craziness and jump on the ridiculous notion that election officials are holding back certain ballots and releasing other ballots or just slow rolling all ballots. The frustration for those of us in the media is that we spent the last 4 years talking about Arizona's battleground swing state status, suggesting correctly that Arizona could be the state to decide the presidential election, and sad face emoji, the country decided the presidency without us, partly because it was such an overwhelming victory for Trump everywhere else, and partly because, well, we're still counting. We're still counting.
I hear a lot of people saying, well, why aren't we done yet? Why aren't we done yet? And then creating all kinds of weird mythologies around that. We're not done because we're following the law.
That's Arizona Secretary of State Adrian Fontes, who has some pretty strong opinions about, well, everything. As of this morning, 780,000 ballots have yet to be tabulated in Arizona, but this isn't election official chicanery. This isn't slow-walking results.
We've never been quick, ever.
Ever. I'll excuse the people who are voting in their first Arizona election ever, because they might not know what those of us who have worked in politics and watched elections in Arizona for a long time know. We've never been quick.
I hear a lot of people saying, well, why aren't we done yet? Why aren't we done yet? And then creating all kinds of weird mythologies around that. We're not done because we're following the law. We've never been quick, ever.
Right.
It's just that now people really care about.
And if you don't want to believe Adrian Fontes because, he's a Democrat, maybe you'll believe a guy who used to work for a Republican Secretary of State, ABC 15's data analyst Garrett Archer, who told me yesterday that it's all about mail-in ballots that didn't get mailed in.
These mail-in ballots, when they're dropped off on Election Day in those little storage bins, they have to be sent to the processing facility, which they are then scanned in through Renbeck. And then after they're scanned, they have to be signature verified. So that is just a process. Every ballot has to have a human look at that ballot. And there's only so much space you can do in a warehouse where you put people in to verify signatures. They have a whole bunch of people doing that, but that is a bottleneck.
But if you still refuse to believe that this isn't Republican County Recorder Stephen Richer slow rolling the count, maybe you'll believe the Republican who defeated Richer in the Republican primary after questioning the election process as a state legislator. Justin Heap has enough of a lead over his Democratic opponent in the county recorder general election that the Democrat has already conceded the race to him. And yet Heap says the counting should continue because he knows it has to, and he knows why. Because it's the law, not a slow roll.
For anyone who wants to get involved, though, the biggest thing they can do right now is we need to cure ballots. Both parties are going to have a lot of voters whose signature verification didn't pass, or they submitted it with not being signed.
Yeah, he understands the process, although he might be complaining if he wasn't winning.
Thanks for watching Sharper Point. Click to see more from Arizona's Morning News and tap the button in the middle to subscribe.